All right, let's just jump right in. We are not talking about some small incremental shift here. We're talking about what might just be the single biggest change in the entire story of humanity. And the craziest part? It's happening right now as we speak.
Now that's not a line from some sci-fi movie. That is a direct, serious statement about the world we live in. And the key thing to really get your head around is that this isn't a prediction. It's not about the future. It's an observation about something that has already happened.
So, okay, if the world we all grew up in is already gone, what took its place? Well, to really understand this new world, we first have to rewind and look at the rules of the old one, especially how we used to think about technology. For pretty much the entire history of computing, we lived in what you could call the age of instruction. This idea defined everything from the very first calculators to the massive software systems that run our entire planet today. But what does that actually mean?
It was actually pretty straightforward. You see, a human had to be the smart one in the room. We, the people, had to solve a problem first all on our own. And only after we had the solution could we write down every single painstaking step to tell a machine how to copy what we did.
Think of it like a jigsaw puzzle. In the old world, a programmer solves the entire puzzle themselves, right? Then they get on the phone with the computer and say, okay, put piece A here. Now turn piece B 90 degrees and connect it. The computer could follow those instructions at lightning speed. But here's the thing. It had absolutely no idea it was even building a puzzle.
And that is the absolute core of it. The machine was just a tool. A fantastic tool for speed and for scale, but a tool nonetheless. It looked intelligent, sure, but all it was ever doing was executing a solution a human had already figured out. It was just our intelligence, but multiplied.
But then, right around the turn of the century, everything changed. I mean, the entire rulebook was thrown out the window. We stopped giving instructions and kicked off a total revolution in how machines think.
This completely new method is called deep learning. And instead of telling the computer how to solve the puzzle, we just give it the box with all the pieces, show it a picture of the finished puzzle, and say, you figure it out. And so it does. It tries and fails millions, even billions of times until suddenly something clicks. It actually learns.
Just look at this breakdown. It's a complete reversal of everything we knew. The source of intelligence flips from human to machine. The process goes from explicit, step-by-step instructions to messy trial and error. And our role? We're not programmers anymore. We're more like teachers. We provide the data. And the end result isn't our solution executed faster. It's a new solution that emerges from the machine itself. Now, you might be thinking, if this all started back in 2000, why does it feel like it just exploded overnight? Well, it's been building for over 20 years, but 2023, with ChatGPT, that was what you could call the Netscape moment. You know, the internet existed for a long time before the Netscape browser came along and gave everyone an easy way to see it. Well, ChatGPT was our browser for AI.
And what we all saw through that browser was something different, something fundamentally new. We are now dealing with a kind of intelligence that we didn't build, not really, and a lot of the time we don't even fully understand how it works.
Let me give you a mind-blowing example from way back in 2009. Some researchers basically pointed a giant computer at YouTube. They gave it no instructions other than watch. Just watch millions of videos, frame by frame, and look for patterns.
So really think about that for a second. With zero human guidance, what's one of the first abstract concepts an AI might stumble upon, just by watching random internet videos?
Yep, it figured out what a cat is. Not a specific cat, but the idea of a cat. The general, abstract concept of catness.
This is so important because it just perfectly illustrates this new world. We never taught it about cats. To this day, we can't point to the exact math it's using to know what a cat is, but it works. That system could then find pretty much any cat in any video on YouTube, a task that, using the old way, would be a programming nightmare.
Just how much of a nightmare? Well, the best estimates suggest that to write a traditional program to do what this AI learned to do on its own would take about 200 million lines of code. The AI basically wrote its own solution, and it's hidden inside a black box we can't fully read.
And this isn't just for finding cute animals online. Look at protein folding, one of the hardest problems in all of biology. A brilliant team of PhDs might spend 8 months to map out a single protein. In 2016, an AI called AlphaFold mapped 200 million of them. Not in a year, in one day. The difference in scale is just, it's hard to even comprehend.
So this brings us really to the most critical question of all. We have this new, powerful, slightly mysterious intelligence loose in the world. Where does this all go?
It seems like there are two very, very different roads ahead. On one path, we could see a true utopia, an era of unbelievable abundance, where AI helps us cure diseases and solve climate change. But on the other path, we could end up in a dystopia where humans are just left out, where the economy is just machines creating things, marketing them, and selling them to other machines, and we become totally irrelevant.
And the point of all this isn't to scare you. It's about awareness. It's about realizing that we're like that frog in a pan of water that's been slowly heating up. The change was gradual for a long time, but now the water is boiling. The time for just sitting back and watching is over.
So here's where we are. The old world is gone. A new kind of intelligence is here. We simply can't pretend things are the same anymore. And that leaves us with one final urgent question. Now that we know the water's boiling, what happens next is all about whether we decide to jump.